Welcome to the iHub. My name is Nekesa. I work at the iHub as Director of Community. And what that means is I try to make sure we have interesting people coming in through the space, to work out of the space and to have events like this. And so I'm really happy to see you here today. The Entrepreneurs Forum is a monthly forum that we host at the iHub. We've been doing it for 3 years now. 4 years now. That's been long. And Professor Ndemo has religiously hosted this session for 4 years. We've talked about so many things over the past 4 years. Everything, we just try to keep it relevant. But what this actually began as, for anyone who is new to the session, I'm sure you're here primarily because you read Professor Ndemo's articles, weekly articles in the papers or online. And there's such a wide audience there, and so many people there asked Prof, it can't just be that we're reading, let's also interact with you and give you your feedback, and you can't put everything into 700 words or however long the blogs, and so they really wanted a space that they could interact with him. And so he graciously agreed. He said, okay, if you can find a space, we'll meet once a month and talk through these things a little bit more. And obviously the iHub, we love to jump on opportunities. And so when we saw that tweet, we immediately called him up and said, you know what, why don't you host it at the iHub? And he said yes. And 4 years down the line, here we are still doing it. I've said this before, but again, Prof, I just want to say thank you so much. 4 years is a long time. I can't believe it's been 4 years. Please give Professor a round of applause. So we're now coming, I think this is probably going to be the last one for this year. And so I'm glad that we're ending on such a high with such an interesting topic. But mine now is to invite Prof to please come and run the show. So, karibu.
Good morning. I want to thank you for coming. We normally don't do this in December. We do up to November and then the rest of the months during the year. You come at a time when we are looking at Entrepreneurship Forum 2.0, because the first one has been balava. We talk, people promise things, and then you never see them. But we have had a bit of success, and I'm going to brag about it because there are some young people here who are making really good products. And we have learned where we have been doing practical things. Like for my Monday article, I wrote about this coming Monday, you must see it, and why the government must be involved, especially in supporting startups of all kinds. Supporting means providing facilities for incubation and acceleration. You would see why it is important, because some of those who have started production manufacturing, several things we didn't know. Now we know that most suppliers in this country, those who supply materials, they supply fake things. They import things, right things from source, and when they bring them here, they mix them with other things, so you will never get the right products. So we are learning, and it's an expensive process. The Ministry of Industrialization must be involved. Was it on Tuesday we were here? Wednesday. We had ambassadors and other foreign diplomats here. And one of them said they like Kenyan products. And they get very disappointed when they go to Carrefour and they want Kenyan dried tomatoes, locally dried tomatoes, because chances are that when they are locally dried, chances are they will be organic. They have never found enough. Or they go, the store manager said, oh, they brought it last week and we don't have it this time. So they leave a number there. When they bring. And this is happening when we have so many young people without employment. When you find stores like Carrefour wanting local products, we can't provide those local products. And so today, we have Safaricom, which is gearing to get into e-commerce. Those of you who have read newspapers, they saw Alibaba bought a what? What did they buy last week? They bought supermarkets. They are getting into supermarkets. Amazon is getting into supermarkets. So we are getting into a very new area, and we are seeing it happen, but we are not doing anything. Ideally, what Amazon is trying to do, they learned from books, and they discovered that theirs is a platform for anything. Books can run on it, vegetables can run on it, everything can run on it, and they can sell it to people by using big data analytics, where they know that Ndemo requires this on such a date, and that's how he needs it, and they will supply it precisely on that date. So there is going to be a mixture of big data, there is going to be machine learning, there is going to be IoT, there is going to be everything that you hear of that is coming, artificial intelligence and other things. So we can't wait until Alibaba comes here or Amazon comes here. And that's why I'm a big advocate of Safaricom. They haven't bought Ujumi or Nakumat. I wish they had bought one of these. And then we change things around. This is what everybody is trying to do globally, that platforms are the ones that would run economies. Just last week, I was in Washington actually discussing platforms and what they are doing globally. Now we have a local platform. And since I'm a board member of Safaricom, I have said that we cannot create a platform which would be distributing foreign goods. The value proposition for Masoko would be local products being sold to Kenyans and to neighbors and to people who want to export those products from Kenya. So I offered that I'll take the challenge that we produce those goods and we put them on the platform and we begin to teach people how to scale, how to standardize, and that's why I began with the problems we're having with suppliers who are not supplying products that are not standard. That we will deal with because we want the policymakers to be involved. So because we have so many young people looking for employment, we have a platform here, we have resources, we know what to do. Some of people here are my PhD students, some were doing reverse engineering. Don't be worried. We could do such things. The whole of Asian economies grew out of reverse engineering. Looking at this mobile phone and reproducing it because the patents have expired. Don't begin thinking about intellectual property around such. So it is not my day to speak today, but it is to ask the team from Safaricom to make a presentation, and then we will discuss later. Some of you have brought some products to see, but the worry Safaricom has is that they don't want to put you on that platform, and they tell the customers that this product can be delivered in 12 hours, and then it is not there, and then the mobile phone is off. This is what happens. Because I've been dealing with these supermarkets, especially with Chumi, where when they were looking at the turnaround, their biggest problem are suppliers who supply good things when there are rainfall, and when the rains go, they don't have cabbages, kumawiki, and other things, and they just put off the phone. So they can't supply the whole year. So if you are going to make a commitment to get on that platform, then know how to supply these things throughout the year. if you are going to say you are going to supply organic sukuma wiki, then make sure that you would use both rain-fed and irrigation so that you have production throughout the year. To do that, you have to have big data. You have to know how many days you harvest, how long it takes, and you say 365 days, I would have this product, or I would manage people to produce this product, to provide it for 365 days. This is new because our farmers are not used to that kind of business where they can produce for the whole year. Our farmers pray to God to bring the rains and produce during the rains and close down the business. Then we import sukuma wiki from Tanzania. There are so many things. There are so many things I can say that even if you take beans, for example, beans, we consume 800,000 tons of beans, just normal beans, the one we make githeri with. 800,000 tons. Do you know how much we produce? I'm a teacher. Do you know? We produce 300,000 tons. 500,000 tons is imported from Zambia, Tanzania, Uganda, into this country. Yeah? We import eggs here from South Africa. We import eggs, yeah? And we have chickens all over Kakamega, yeah? So if you are going to tell Safaricom that we are giving you the yellow eggs, they must be yellow throughout the year. And you can get the yellow only from Kakamega. Because there they eat grass, and there are some in Kitengela which do that. So if we get to that point, I don't want to remove your... But let's listen, and then we discuss. But what I want to see, the beginning of the year, is that we have like 100 products on that platform, which we are managing, making sure that they are there on a daily basis, not random. Not if you are making shondo, let that shondo be there throughout the year, and it must be the same throughout the year. When I say that, it means we are talking about standardization. How do we get the same shondo? You have to have standardization. We find ways of doing it. And we begin to have the discipline of manufacturing, and that's how economies grow. So I want to give you this chance. Tumpigie makofi mingi sana.
So, morning everybody. I'm really excited to be here. So we're going to talk about a number of things. We've launched Masoko and we're really excited. It's been 7 months. I haven't seen the light of day for 7 months. I don't even know the areas that he's talking about where they're farming because I haven't had the opportunity to even get there. So, but I'm excited. And so today, let's talk about this platform and what it can do for you. Let's also talk about e-commerce though as a business outside of a platform. So I don't want to kill you guys with a PowerPoint. I've got a PowerPoint, but let's have a conversation. I think it's important. It's important to understand what e-commerce is about, whether you're doing it independently or with a platform or both, preferably both. And let's have a discussion what we're trying to achieve and what we're trying to do and where we're going in Kenya and Africa. So I think let me start and take a whole lot of years back. So I'm not from Kenya. I was born in Johannesburg. I spent 40 years in Johannesburg and 7 years in the lovely Cape Town. And in 1998, I was starting a kids news channel. So we called it Kids News Network, which was KNN. And what we really wanted to do was to be able to communicate to children about life and about entrepreneurship and about cool things to do as a child. And in that process, we were there wasn't even Google then, we were using Netscape, that's how old I am. And we came across some software which was a payment software, and we re-engineered it, and we built a payment switch. So what that meant was we integrated that into one of the local banks in South Africa, and we started doing transactions. So we were giving people the opportunity to transact online. So the first site we did, we were just experimenting. We put some flowers on the site, and a company by the name of Net Florist was born. Net Florist does probably $6 or $7 million a month turnover now, and great success story. And so I built that business up, and we learned about e-commerce. And I ran that business for 10 years, exited for a brief moment in time, and ran a big loyalty program for one of the big banks called eBucks to understand loyalty. And then I came back into the group, and we globalized it. So we were in Kenya, in Nigeria, in Brazil, in India, in numerous places, Poland, Russia, etc., etc. So that's really who I am. I'm loving Kenya. I'm here to live, so I've been here 7 months. So thank you for welcoming me. People are super friendly. And people are very entrepreneurial, so which is surprising. I was going, why is everybody asking me all these questions? And I love it. People just want to learn. People know much more about e-commerce than I ever expected. Everybody wants to grow in this environment, and I think from a Kenyan perspective, we're way ahead. We were more ahead than I'm always biased towards South Africa, but when I stand in Kenya, I think the people are much more entrepreneurial, much more forward-thinking, much more educated, and I'm so happy to be here because of that. One thing I do want to warn you, I've been in e-com for all this time, and I have 28 colleagues that have twins, including me. So be very careful if you're making babies, guys. You're going to have twins. So I don't know what it is. It's the payments and the e-commerce sector, but it's crazy, man. And even yeah, I'm meeting guys. Oh yeah, I got twins. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? So that's me. I'm Charles. Please put your hand up, ask questions, do whatever you wish. This must be interactive. We're really excited about growing Masoko as a brand. I went to work on Thursday and I got back this morning. So I stayed awake, I worked in the warehouse. I have shares in Red Bull, but I'm excited and I'm excited to take this product to market. So we will talk about it. But I think always let's open by talking about the internet itself, because if it's not for the internet, we're not going to have this business. So there are 4 billion people connected to the internet at the moment, which is phenomenal. 400 million of those are Africa, and that's recorded. So the point of this is that every single day people connect to the internet. More than 50% of these connected users are by means of a mobile phone. This is the coolest slide ever. I don't know if you guys have seen this, probably most of you have, but this is what happens every minute on the internet. So let's start with shopping. So there's $751,000 spent in every minute of the day. This is not 12 hours of the day, this is 24 hours of the day. There are 1.8 million Snapchats created. 15,000 gifts are sent over Facebook Messenger. 120 new LinkedIn accounts opened every minute. Tinder, 990,000 people are swiping left or right to find a date in 1 minute. Very exciting. 452,000 tweets. 4.1 million views on YouTube. Just think about that. It's phenomenal, the size of that. 16 million text messages are sent on WhatsApp every 60 seconds. So it's important because these are all actual channels of e-commerce. E-commerce is not just a website with a www. There's lots of ways and lots of interactions. So that's the internet in a minute. The most expensive things ever bought online, a Ferrari, $42 million US. A diamond ring, which was $46. A painting for $275, a villa for $5 or $6, and a yacht that someone paid $4.5 billion for in the US. So you can buy anything online. Someone bought a piece of toast online. Someone's bought a piece of Britney Spears' hair. So don't worry about what you're selling. It's how you merchandise and how you create an audience to want that product. Singles Day, what a story. So a couple of weeks ago, our friend at Alibaba has his one-day Chinese Singles Day. They did $25 billion US turnover in one day, 156,000 transactions a second. No one can beat that. And this is the point. As the Prof said, we here in Kenya, we need a platform. This is a platform, guys. This is a marketplace. This is linking every Chinese manufacturer, retailer together and bringing it. These guys are doing. I can't remember what the stats were, but there was 1.4 billion transactions, and they're delivering something like 250 orders per second in China. So it's just phenomenal, and I think we're at exactly the right point in time to be in Kenya to deliver this. As the Prof said as well, we've got all these nice, cool little businesses. We've got so many farmers. We've got, yes, and we don't have to deliver fresh farm goods to Tanzania or to South Africa. We can deliver them locally into local environments. So, $25 billion in one day. Let's see if we can do 1 billion in one day next year. Amazon, interesting story. Black Friday 1997. Its market cap was 1 billion US. 10 years later, it was 16, and 10 years later, it was 575 million. So I've been fortunate enough, I've been to Amazon, I've been to that warehouse. That warehouse is 10 kilometers long. You do not walk in the warehouse, there are vehicles that take you into that warehouse. It's completely automated, it's robotic. They process, 85 items per second in that warehouse. So we've got some learnings, but what a fantastic operation. Then we've got Masoko. So this is it. I've been here just over 7 months. We've built Masoko in 7 months. We've delivered it in 7 months. And we're excited. So we've got competitors in the marketplace, and they're doing a great job. So I don't think we need to benchmark Masoko. I think, as the Prof said, this is something different. This is changing the way Kenyan people shop and sell. So it's important for everybody to understand that. So whether you're doing an independent website, we can talk about that, whether you want to sell your goods independently or whether you use a platform, it's the way it's packaged. So there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there that have made money online. There's an author, his book, I can't remember his name, but he wrote a book called Get Rich Click. Read it if you can. His second book was called Word of Mouse. What this guy did was, when he was in college, he went onto eBay. eBay is the same as an OLX. And he found all the products that never had an image. He took all those products, he found an image, and he re-uploaded that product into eBay, and he marked it up by 20%, and he bought the other one for the guy with no image. He made $500 every single day. So it's about that. It's about presentation. Have you got the right image? Have you got the right product? Have you got authentic product? That's exactly what it's. What he did was, after that, he went onto news channels, and he was on Reuters and on CNN and on BBC and all the big news channels. And every time a crisis broke, he bought the domain. So swine flu, tsunami. He bought those domains and he sold them one day later for $1 million US each. So we need to keep up. It's tough, but you got to keep up. We got to keep trends. Everything's changing all the time. And guys are making money from opportunities. There are lots and lots of opportunities in this online space. So this is one. Masoko is a great opportunity. I will talk through it. You will see some high-end brands, but I'll let you know why they're there. It's way, way different to everybody else. It's a different way to shop. It's a different look and feel. It's about quality. It's about proper merchandise. It's about authenticated merchandise. You know, if you're buying a blue shirt, don't send me a green shirt. If you're a left-handed golfer, don't send me special offers for right-handed clubs. It's simple. People always over-engineering what they're doing, naming things in the unconventional manner. If you search for bananas on Google, put in bananas. Don't put in curved yellow things. So it's important. It's important to name your things that people can understand what they are. So if you guys are choosing domains for your websites, make sure that they are appropriate to your region, to your audience, to your shoppers. Make sure that people can spell them, because there are no 5-letter English words in .com available in the world to buy. None. So they've all been taken and have been bought by somebody. You can buy them from those people, but there's no more 5-letter words at all. So find a word that's appropriate. I know a lot of guys have got it right. Google got it right by calling Google Google. There are a couple of ones that are really cool, like Zalando, but essentially choose a name that's appropriate. We've chosen Masoko because it means many markets, and it's important to us that we enrich lives, so that's why, hence our name. We looked at numerous names, but it's really important to make sure that your shopper particularly understands why your name is there. So this is really who we are. So the T equals R plus D is important to me as a person, as important to Safaricom as a company. So trust is important for us. We have a trusted brand. Safaricom is an amazingly trusted brand. When I got here in the very beginning, I think the Lewa Marathon was on. I took a ride up to the marathon to go and watch. I wasn't running. Look at my stomach. I eat too much. But so I went up to the Lewa Marathon, and what I discovered was I've never seen a brand with such exposure. And it wasn't about the Safaricom brand. It was about the medical center was also green and red and white. Every single business besides Safaricom had similar colors. So I played golf with the CEO of Crown Paints the other day, and he said one of the biggest selling color paints in Kenya is green. How awesome is that? So for me, Safaricom has built this brand that is so strong and so trusted and so awesome, and we're going to continue that. So for our merchants, you know, we want to transform lives. We want to make your lives better. We want to make a lady making baskets on the side of the road's life better. We want to give them a channel that is trusted, that is authentic. I have no problem with imported products as long as they're authentic and they're packaged well and they deliver what they're supposed to deliver. So we're going to give people the tools. Right now we've got a platform. You can load products in, you can load an image, you can load multiple images, descriptions, and a selling price, and we can sell it for you. So those tools are there. We're going to increase that tool set. What I want to do is produce business tools for small entrepreneurs to help them to manage their inventory, potentially if they've got a store, to do an omni-channel integrated into the Masoko site. So I've looked at some devices already that we can do interoperability between your store and our store. So we're really looking forward to doing that. And payments is key. So we launched officially last Tuesday, and I was really worried. We are prepaid business only. We use M-Pesa, Visa, MasterCard, M-Visa, and Airtel. Sorry. So the reason for that is you've got to give your customer choice. In some countries, certainly in SA, there's more than 15 different tender types that you can use to buy with. And it's important to give your customer choice. And just remember, you're making money from all those guys somewhere along the line. So I think choice is key in the payment space. It's also got to be trusted. It's also got to be secure. There's lots of compliance here around Visa and MasterCard transactions. But it's really important that we have the most tenders and the most ways to pay in Kenya. So we went with no cash. Why? Cash is expensive. Cash is susceptible to fraud. And cash gives you the biggest amount of returns possible on your website. As soon as you're delivering with cash, people are there's more of a propensity for people to return the item. So you get to their house, oh no, I don't have money, I don't want this, I don't like the color, meantime, and then you're sitting with returns and you're sitting with product in your warehouse. So we launched on Tuesday, as I said, and we've had no pushback on prepaid at all, which is phenomenal, and I'm really happy to see that. So people were happy to pay with M-Pesa. They were happy to pay up front, and we will continue to grow that payment base. We may do an M-Pesa, as we drop it off, you might be able to take the payment. But so far, transparency on payments, and it's been really impressive. So the other thing that we want to do, who are our vendors? I will get into a little bit more detail, but they are trusted. We have got big brands. We've got Samsung, we've got LG, we've got iPhones, we've got those. And the reason for those was because we needed those strong brands to get us just over the line. And the strong brands that we have are authentic. They've got warranties. We deliver on those warranties. Now that we've built that product base, it's time to take this business and transform it into the smaller industries. So our phase 2 is most definitely, I don't think 100's enough. I think we need 3,000 or 4,000 businesses on our site as soon as possible. So we're building trust. As I said, authentic product, what you see is what you get. So you come onto our website, it's called an iPhone, it is spelled with an I. You won't get an ePhone or an L phone or whatever everybody else is delivering. So delivery is important. It's tough. Kenya's tough, man. It's tough to get here in the morning. It can take an hour. So delivery is key. We've got delivery partners. If you want my opinion on running it yourself, I think elements of it, you should own your own warehousing facility. We've built this system to be able to pick it up and put it anywhere in the world. So we've got an integrated courier module that you can put as many carriers into the system as possible. We have partnered with Fargo and Sendi. So Fargo doing our warehousing and our delivery to remote and outside areas, and Sendi's doing quite a bit of the internal. And yes, so we want to keep it simple. We're learning, so from an interface perspective, we've seen a number of things we will improve this week and next week and every week thereafter. I think it's a journey that will continue. And then how do we change the way people shop? And I think we're already starting to do that, just showing that we've done prepaid, people have been happy. People also didn't want quick delivery in the last few days, which was, we were expecting, we wanted to do a 12-hour, we wanted to do a 3-hour delivery in Nairobi. And majority of the orders were actually placed, they said we're happy to wait between 1 and 72 hours. So what are the benefits? We're the biggest payment business in Africa. So we're the biggest trusted payment business in Africa. So Safaricom's got it, guys. We're doing transactions. We've got M-Pesa. So who wouldn't want to join an environment that's part of M-Pesa? So that's a major benefit. As I said, prepaid payments, so you're not going to stand a risk. There's going to be no risk in terms of a high rate of return. You don't have to then resell products that have been handled by people. You'll see in the clothing industry it's really tough. People buy 5 sizes. 3 of their friends wear those dresses to a wedding. They return them. You see the invite in the pocket, but you still get them returned and you still have to return them. So it's extremely exciting in terms of that we will manage that because it's prepaid. So we manage the checkout. We manage the whole fulfillment process, which is key. It's secure. It's safe for the shopper. We will manage your catalog. We will merchandise your catalog. We will put it in the correct spaces, and we will market your catalog. So the nice thing about us is, yes, we'll follow the retail calendar, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day. But if we wanted to do a sun-dried tomatoes day, we could. So the flexibility that we have.
I want you to emphasize settlement occurs every day.
Yep.
Meaning if I bring my week, you pay me today.
Yeah. So settlement happens every 7 days. So we pay our vendors every 7 days. The reason why we don't pay immediately, because we have got a return policy and we need to have a return policy. So you have 7 days to return an item if you're not happy. On the 7th day, we settle our vendor directly. It's an automated environment. We pay it back into the M-Pesa till, which is great. So we're managing and helping our vendors manage their cash flow. We're not holding funds. This is not our game. Our game is to settle and to make our vendor and our consumer happy. So fraud protection is there for credit card. We don't see a whole lot of Visa and MasterCard transactions, but they will happen, and we will manage those. Credit card fraud in Kenya is not nearly as high as in the rest of the world, but certainly, if you phone me on my private number, I can get you stolen credit cards for $1 each if you really want them. People sell credit card numbers all over the world at places that you can buy them. So we've got systems in place to manage, to track the bin numbers on cards, to see where they're coming from, and to block those transactions. So fraud monitoring is key. As I said, product placement, we can have any day we want. It's our day, it's our business, it's Kenya's business. So if we want to do some new innovation in headphones, we can launch an audio promotion in a couple of seconds. So we've built the system really to be really agile. A lot of people at Safaricom have looked at me and said, "You're crazy, why do you run so fast? Why do you talk so fast? Why are your meetings so quick?" Because this is what e-commerce is. So I like to stand in my meetings. In my offices when I was still back home, we never had chairs in our boardroom. We stood. It's much easier to stand when you're talking, and it's much quicker to get the meeting over with. So no chairs, no samosas, no chapatis, nothing. Water, stand, meeting, done. Let's go, baby. So yeah, it's interesting. I spend a lot of time in meetings. You have too much time. In fact, what I love though is that everybody has a contribution, which I think is really cool. It's so different to what I'm used to. So what we can talk, I've got a slide on dropshipment and consignment, but what this means is that if you're a vendor and you want to keep your product in your own warehouse or in your own building, or you can keep it in your car, it doesn't really matter where you keep it, but you can drop the product with us only once the order's placed. So we offer that as a service. The other is, give us your product, we'll store it for you safely and securely. We will cover the insurance on that product, and we can then deliver that product a lot quicker than the dropship. And so we've got both options, which is key. Phase 2 is that I want to create smaller dropping communities and places. So I think it's really key, especially in the agricultural space, is to create drop-off hubs, especially for fresh produce, so we can take a number of items and put them into one destination, and then people can purchase. We can do a B2B purchase in that space. I think it's really important that we can geo-fence or fence that solution off and have a click and collect. I also think that certainly in the agricultural environment, a transaction's not a Visa card, man. It's a conversation. I think people they're negotiating, they're talking about it. And I think to create these hubs and to create quality and freshness, it's important that we do that. That we don't ship product from Mombasa up to the airport to our Fargo warehouse to ship it later. I think it's pointless. So we will be doing bespoke environments and delivery. I haven't done it yet. I haven't seen a weekend yet either, but we will definitely get that done. So yeah, easy to manage your inventory, as mentioned before. Because we own the shipping channel, we can decide to do free shipping, we can decide to do 1 shilling shipping. We can really manage the shipping. So I'm quite excited about the fact that we own that piece of the transaction. It has nothing to do with our vendors. Our vendors provide us with a product, they provide us with a price, and we sell it on their behalf. So shipping is handled completely by Safaricom and Masoko. And then obviously support. So support is there. We've got a support center. We've got one of the biggest call centers in the country. We've got a good chat environment to support. So you don't have to manage that either. So you really don't need much. These are just a couple of things that are in terms of the value proposition. But I think most of them have actually been said. But quality is key for me. Quality of product, authenticated product at a fair price, guys. I think if we become this stack 'em high and make them fly mass discount platform, we're going to fail. I think we need to give the Kenyan people the fairest price with the most value in terms of what you're getting. So, and that value can be numerous things. It can be packaging, it can be delivery time. If you buy a television, you should be getting data. Why not? It's a smart TV. We should give you so what we're trying to encourage our vendors to do is to bundle, to add additional products that complement each other, or gift vouchers, or so I don't want to just put one item in the bag. I want to put the item in the bag, and I want to give you a whole lot of other cool stuff to have in that transaction. And personalized. So I don't know how many of you guys have purchased from Safaricom and from Masoko, but it's a personal thing. So we give you a note to say thank you for your order. I think it's important. We will continue to do this. It's important for me as a person that every customer is important to me, irrespective of how much volume we're doing. So we're really excited to be able to say we have personalization. And then from a payments perspective, so right now it's a vendor Masoko relationship and a Masoko consumer relationship. So that's key. So they're going to pay us, we're going to pay the vendors, the suppliers, and that we're doing right now, whether it's a Visa or a MasterCard transaction, an Airtel and M-Pesa. Phase 2 will be a business-to-business. We will have more businesses and wholesale, et cetera, into what we're doing. And then, as I said, we need to look at omni-channel, look at what we can do with retail to be able to complement, whether it's a pickup or whether it's an integrated value-added services or whatever we choose. So if your device where you process your Visa and MasterCard can take units of stock, perfect. There's not enough of them in this country, so we will make sure that we deliver on that. And this is the cool thing. As I said, we can pick it up and we can put it somewhere else. So Kenya's my first baby. I will wait until we've settled the solution that we have enough Kenyan businesses on this platform, and then we will go elsewhere. I haven't selected where, but we will certainly go elsewhere, and we'll be able to do cross-border, multi-currency, multi-country transactions. As the Prof also mentioned, we can settle, we do a settlement as a schedule, so it's scheduled, we settle those funds into our customers' till or bank account if it's Visa and MasterCard. So this is where we are. We launched with high-end, absolutely. We launched with trusted brands, with authentic brands. Phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, we're never going to have enough phases, but certainly is this. Those are key. Why can't I pay my school fees online? Why can't I pay for tuition online? Why can't I pay for training online? Why can't I get a loan online? Why can't I pay for travel online? So we've got a lot of work to do. We're 7 months, we're still new, but there's a big, big plan for Masoko. So don't panic if you don't have merchandise, if you have services, if you buy a DSTV decoder, why not sell installation? So I think there are many, many opportunities outside of physical product. I think it's key to know that services are being bought online. Hiring is such a key element. In the US, no one's buying appliances anymore. So if you have an electric drill or a washing machine, there's an app in your neighborhood. You say, I'd like to do my washing, you use the same washing machine. You share the cost of the washing machine and you share the cost of the powder. And I think hiring is going to become key. It's cost saving. It's definitely better in the agricultural sector. 4 1-acre farms, 1 tractor makes sense.
Would you consider
Art? Absolutely, yeah. Art is art reaches big money, and especially if I had a site in South Africa that was called Paintings for Ants, and the pictures are this big, but they are the most beautiful painted African pictures you'll see. That lady could not keep up with demand. Her audience was completely America, all African prints. The cool thing is, remember, if you're shipping an item this big, it fits in a flour bag, and it gets to the destination really cheap. So size matters. Or did I say that? Sorry, guys, size does matter. So size does matter. So if you're selling something that fits in a flour bag, and a flour bag is one of those courier bags, generally your cost of transaction is really good and you generally make more cash. And that's why Amazon really got it done so well in the beginning, because a book and a CD and a DVD fitted in a bag. White goods, washing machines, cookers, not fun to ship. Anywhere in the world, not fun to ship except maybe in the US. Yeah.
I'm going to take you a few slides back. When you say you could keep the product for the Masoko vendors,
Yep.
does that come at a cost?
No cost. So this is the slide essentially. So consignment model is, it's in the warehouse. It's getting ready to pack. The cool thing is we scan it all electronically. So we scan in, scan out, track it all the way along to the consumer. The consumer will sign on an Android device with a digital signature. So we keep full track of where the transaction is, right from the time that it's inbounded into the warehouse right through. So it gives us opportunities to do quality checks and to make sure that it's on time. Yeah, and then the dropship model, as I said, so if you have a little business, we get an order, we send you an email and an SMS immediately to say, cool, there's an order, please pack it, please deliver it to one of our delivery hubs or to our warehouse, and we will process it, consolidate the order, and send it on to the customer. And then just the customer, I think the customer, yeah.
When you get an order, you send an email, right? And then the person delivers that product to your warehouse. So who covers for that cost?
The vendor does, yeah. So the customer journey at the moment is about between 5 and 7 clicks into the basket. By January, it'll probably be 3, so my checkout process was a little bit cumbersome to start, but it's what I had. So it's important that it's easy to use, that the products are clear and concise, and the quickest into the basket is just something crazy. If you look at conversion skills and conversion recommendations online, the biggest selling item, the biggest thing that people like the most online is free shipping, by far. The others is ease of use, so they like a quick, easy navigation and quick into the basket. I went onto Amazon the other day to buy these cool new wallets. They got like an RFID tag in them. And I went to the wallet section on Amazon, and there were 400 wallets. 400 pages, in fact, of wallets. So I never got it. The experience was terrible. So it's key that we merchandise correctly on your behalf, and it's key that you send us the right descriptions and the most clear and concise images. I certainly can.
There is no integration with social media at all.
There is very much integration with social media. We haven't created an API yet for you to cross-sell from Facebook or Instagram into our environment, which will come. I believe there's a big phenomenon in Kenya to sell on social media platforms, so it's pretty new to me, so that's why the API hasn't been built, but if you feature there, you should be able to feature here and vice versa. So we're definitely looking into social media integration. And then this is just some creative. I think what we've done is we've created, you'll very rarely see a price point. It's more of a story. It's we're trying to target audiences in a different manner. You can see it's very upmarket marketing. I don't know if you've seen the billboards out there. We will have the most amazing TV ad you've ever seen in your life, early 2018. They're busy shooting it at the moment. I wanted to be in it, but they said no. So I don't know why. I'm an athlete, but so yeah, there's so many opportunities. If we've got a little business in a little town and we want to do advertising, we can do it. And we can add those people's product and their brand and co-brand and top and tail on the advertising. I think it's very, very important to know that we will take your business to the next level. You just concentrate on producing the right product, we'll concentrate on getting it into the marketplace. So we do alcohol. We deliver alcohol up until 11 o'clock at night. We do it responsibly. We have dedicated riders that take that product, so we know who they are. We will not endanger our riders' lives. So
You don't have Changa there.
we don't have?
You don't have Changa there.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the creative and just wondering how would you define a target audience?
Oh, it's such a difficult answer that. So right now, it's probably the Safaricom audience, but it's also because of the product mix at the moment. So it's so hard to, for me, my target audience is anybody that has an M-Pesa account that is able to transact. So
Actually, can I
go.
respond to this? There is going to be a lot of big data analytics to actually know what you like, what you want, and then they can push some of the things of just exactly the same thing Google does. You check a few things and then they give you stuff. Yeah, it's very easy to. That's why I was saying social media integration.
But I think that's spot on. The key thing is once we start to generate data, is everybody will be a target audience. So if I can understand, especially if you, I wish we had more integrated into retail as well, because if I know what you're doing and why you're shopping and where you're shopping, I can certainly, as I said, don't send me left-handed golf specials if I'm right-handed. And that's really what we want to get down to. We wanted to say, you're a beautiful lady, you want beauty products, we're going to push beauty products to you. Your favorite color seems to be blue, and we will send you blue products. So once we start generating data, we'll certainly be profiling our customers. Some people say profiling is also to your detriment. I agree to a degree. So if you never see the travel offer because you've never chosen travel, then you'll never see the travel offer. So we will always top and tail with something a little bit added on to the end. But for me, it's important for me to understand my customer and to delight them. We need to delight them. They need to go, this isn't spam, this isn't rubbish coming into my mailbox. Hey, this is cool, man. What I can really do with this. So that's really where we are, yeah.
And do you cross-leverage any data you have on Safaricom? So, for example, if I buy XYZ at Nakumat or at Jumia, do you leverage that data to get that profile?
I haven't to date. I haven't had time to do anything with regards to data mining and how we're going to do it. We have a separate division that is looking at the data as Safaricom as a business. I'm not sure how to answer that. Right now, I'm just using the online data. I think we'll eventually get to the data management and the business intelligence around it and how we profile. But it's
Actually, Safaricom, Nakumat has got a gold mine in data because they know what brand of toothpaste they use. They know that they have everything. And I'm surprised that they are getting into trouble when they have such, which they can say.
Yeah, you know what? I think just generally retail in Africa generally, the retailers don't know who their customers are. They don't. There's not enough information. Woolworths did a reasonably good job. And what happened to Woolworths is that if you were purchasing, so I buy an XL shirt, they would track my data by my Visa or my MasterCard. What happened was there's a compliancy called PCI DSS compliancy, and all of a sudden they weren't allowed to keep my card number on their till point, and their whole data went down the tube. So they couldn't track my data by means of my MasterCard because they weren't allowed to keep that card. So people are trying. I think Amazon's definitely getting it right. It's important that we do understand our customer without being invasive. It's a thin line between being invasive and spamming versus being proactive and giving the people the right things. So I wish retail did more. I wish we could understand more about retail, and I wish consumers would give retail more information. So yeah, at the back.
Hi, so I have two questions.
Yep.
First question is, will there be delivery charges on Masoko? There will be. What will they be? And my second question is, what commissions do you take from the vendors?
Cool. I like those questions. Those are the... Okay, so we got a guy who wants to make money, a guy in the back of the room. So at the moment, shipping is 150 shillings for standard delivery. That's 1 to 72 hours. Nairobi. And express delivery is 1 to 24 hours, and it's 180 shillings. The commissions are interesting because not everybody has the same product, and not everybody has different margins. So we know for a fact that a PlayStation game carries maybe between 2 and 3.5% margin, versus a blue shirt could carry 50% margin. So our commission is based on product, so we can do commission right down to a product level. And we will negotiate that with our vendor in the conversation of onboarding them. So I can't really, I can tell you it's probably between 3 and however much money I can make. So that's what the commission is. And just bear in mind that there are costs associated to every transaction. So there is a Visa and MasterCard cost that Masoko will take care of. So it depends what you're selling. It depends what the market. So generally the guideline is, what are you selling this product, or what should this product sell for in retail? We will take that recommended retail price and we will generally make it the same online, unless we're doing flash sales or promotions, etc., etc. So margins are variable, completely variable. Yeah?
Will the data be available for vendors, or is it proprietary information from software?
So the sales data will definitely be available for the vendor, absolutely.
Just sales or customer profiles, location?
I'm not sure how to answer that. I'm not sure, actually. We will share the transactional data, how many transactions, when it was delivered, if it was on time. At this stage, I'm not sure. I can get back to you with that answer with pleasure.
My name is David. When are you planning to list when are you planning to start offering the tours and travel service on the platform? And also, are you planning to partner with the tours and travel companies, or will be doing it directly?
With tour companies.
The tours and travel, yeah. I saw on the
travel.
Yeah, the travel, yeah.
Yeah, so travel is an interesting one. Travel is huge, man. Travel is incredible. We will launch travel early next year. I haven't launched it yet. I've looked at a number of travel aggregator environments, because you need airline and you need hotel. And my intention is to build that and then allow local travel agents as well as vendors, lodgers, to be able to upload product exactly the same way as you're doing in Masoko, to say, oh cool, I've got 3 rooms available on next weekend, you can load them and sell them. So travel is an important part to me. I'm pretty far down the line in terms of putting it together. So travel, look out for it next year, early next year, first quarter.
My name is... my name is Mecca. You actually, earlier you mentioned that you would like to customize the services in regions. Are you looking at an agency kind of model in order for onboarding vendors, or how are you going to achieve that?
Yeah, look, I'm not adverse to having agents aggregating and selling on number of people's behalf. I haven't given it much thought, I must be honest, but when we get to that, we do have 1 or 2 people that are very interested in doing the agency model, so we will explore it, there's no doubt.
Hi, my name is Tatenda. You had previously mentioned that you will have a platform, it will be possible to have art on the platform. So since we are placing such a high value on authenticity, how will we authenticate, especially in terms of art, and especially if you want a standard kind of quality? Are you going to hire third-party consultants, or how is art especially going to be authenticated?
So, Prof, you better answer that, eh?
I really want, because Google started art. I mean, almost everybody is doing art but I don't know how they are doing it. That's why I said we need to see that, because we have a lot of young, talented people here. The process of doing it, we can now discuss. It wasn't, maybe they left it deliberately, but if you have seen several platforms are doing on it. Yeah? Maybe this is a consultant to us.
Yes, maybe. Yeah, look, I think definitely moderating anything that we put on our site is important to us. So, art, if there's an association or an institute or a regulator that regulates whether things are authenticated, we'd love to have a conversation with that. Yeah.
My name is Erin. My question would be, we have some clients who actually go and take goods in the basket and then they pay, and then at the end of the day, maybe after 2 hours, they decide they didn't want it. So that's a cancellation policy. So how are you guys going to handle that? And what is the return policy you have when somebody doesn't want to receive a product? And imagining that a vendor has taken the goods to the warehouse and they have covered the transport cost, do you guys kind of refund for return of the product because the customer actually doesn't want to take it?
Yes, so we will refund. As I said, we've got a 7-day return policy, so if the customer changes their mind, they are welcome to return it. We will cover the cost of the transportation and we'll take this consignment back.
How many hours do you give to the customers to change their mind?
7 days.
7 days.
Look, the policy is complicated, it's pretty long, but it depends on if it's open, if it's in its original packaging. There's a whole bunch of rules around it. Especially in the cell phone and computer space, if those seals are broken, then it is quite difficult to take a return back. But certainly for general merchandise, we have no problem. The customer must come first. Yeah. No. So perishable goods I haven't done yet. So we're really excited to get into the perishable goods space, but I'm sure it won't apply. I haven't written the policy for perishable goods yet.
My question is, besides commissions from vendors, which other revenue model is Safaricom banking on?
So that's it. Commission.
That's it.
Commission is. So we're in this for a number of reasons, and I think the most important reason is for us to get Kenyan people to supply us with Kenyan product to deliver to the world. I think that's the goal at the end of this. And I'm really looking forward to the day when I can stand up here, and maybe at next year's event, if I'm invited at this time, let me get over Black Friday again. And I want to be able to say that we've delivered an authentic Kenyan product to America or South Africa or somewhere far away. I had a friend of mine call me about 2 weeks ago. He was in New York City, and he was at a store which had all Kenyan baskets in it. You know, these baskets, the beautiful baskets. The baskets that we were buying here for 500 to 1,000 shillings, they were selling for $90 a basket.
Oh, no.
And they couldn't keep up. In fact, when he put the phone down, I said, find me a store close by, I want to open my own one. So people want African product. African product is beautiful, and there's so much thought and there's so much care taken into putting it together, and that's really what I want. I don't want something that's put in a mold and bulk manufactured. If it's handmade, it means a whole lot more. It means a whole lot more to the person that's manufactured themselves. So for me, it's key that we have that. We're a long way away. It's a journey. As I said, my directors, they push me, 18 hours a day I work, and then they're still asking me for more. And so it's a journey, and the journey is not me. The journey is everybody in this room and everybody out there. So
let's take one question, then we leave him to finish, and then we ask more questions.
Okay, my name is Victor. I have 2 questions. The first is, what's the qualification to be a vendor? Do they need to pay to Mastercard some deposit? And second question is, as we can see, Mastercard is a platform, e-business platform. So did you also provide your commodity directly to the customer, or just you only are platform, then only the vendors in your platform deliver their goods to the customer? directly?
Yes, so in terms of qualification, we will look after everybody from enterprise business to sole proprietors. I'm not sure, there's some documentation required. I'm not too familiar with it, only because I'm not from here, but there's an ID or a KRA or something. I can't remember all the items, but certainly we'll let even the individual person provide us. We're not letting our vendors or our suppliers deliver directly to our customers. We own the customer. We want to delight the customer. And I know a lot of people are honest and a lot of people do have authenticated product, but I'd much rather have that product pass my warehouse to have a look at. I know it's much more cost effective to a degree to get the product directly from the merchant in. I tried it in SA. We did have problems. So yeah, a lot of guys do that. They let you deliver directly from the supplier to the home, but how's it packed? Who's delivering it? Is it safe? So right now, it's got to pass through my doors. I've got to make sure it's cool.
Let Charles finish. You finish. Are you through with the presentation?
I can go forever, but I don't really mind. My presentation absolutely is through, yes.
Oh, you're through with it? Okay. Now, boom.
Okay. Hi, how are you? Great presentation. Thank you so much. My name is Josh from Web in Motion, the video animation company. We do animated explainer videos and online marketing. And I've trying to break into the e-commerce space for a while now, and have a client actually that buys products here from local artisans and then sells them in Florida. And one thing that we've really been struggling with is communicating with the right audience and creating the right funnel for those type of people. And you mentioned how you have someone that's been doing $90 from $5, which is amazing. So I want to know, in your e-com experience, basically, especially around the fashion industry, what funnels have worked for you? Do you build funnels, and what conversion metrics do you look at? Thank you.
So, long question to answer. First of all, I have people that build me funnels, but so it's quite schizophrenic the way e-commerce works. For me, the guys that are making money, that make money quicker, let's put the phrase it that way, are people that do niche. So if you're doing niche products to a niche audience, you can build that customer base and a loyal customer base quite nicely. So in South Africa, I ran about 3,600 websites. Of those 3,600, the ones that generally made money, that were small SME kind of business, were the ones that focused on just a little group of products. So I had a perfume guy that just sold perfume. He had a great audience and a great repeat rate, because remember that if you're buying perfume and you like CK, you'll buy CK on a regular basis. So your return customer base is much better when you're targeting. But yeah, as a mass merchandise platform, it's quite tough. But within those little communities or categories, if we create enough stickiness and enough value, we'll be okay. But I can't really talk about the funneling. It's too complex to talk about here, and I don't actually know enough about it to tell you. I have a really good guy that maybe we can invite next, who's managing that whole process for me, from a search, from a Google, from a funneling perspective.
My name is Edward. I have two questions. One is on email marketing, and this is related to what she asked about access to customer data. If I want to run my own email campaigns, do you provide me one with the contacts of the customers and perhaps a tool whereby I can run email marketing or email campaign to my specific customers? Second question is on integrations. Are you providing maybe APIs whereby I can sync up stock information with my own business stock management system?
So right now, the answer for the email marketing is that we do the marketing and we do the promotions and we manage that whole process. We've got a system and we've got products that we push out those emails. I'd love to have your number so I can chat about that later or longer with my team. And the second question again, sorry? So no, there's no APIs at the moment, but we are building them because there's a lot of guys that have got a website already. So it doesn't make sense for you to upload them in a different manner besides an API. So I'd love an API to be able to push into my back office to give me the image and the description and the price. So we certainly are looking at that. It will be a quicker way for people to upload. And it's quite nice to sync both ways, because what's happening is you will then manage your stock there. And if it's an out of stock, then at least it communicates with my system and you don't have to phone me and go, oh, I'm out of this or whatever. So we have had a few out of stocks, and that'll solve the problem. So the guys are looking at some sort of native API that we can give to our customers, yeah.
Okay. Karemi Kimathi, student at the University of Nairobi. I work in community development, assisting youth who you normally find in informal gatherings to get formalized, registered into entities that the government recognizes. I was wondering about how does Masoko help the informal business community in Kenya, because we know there are about 80% of the business that goes on in Kenya is actually informal. They are not registered. They don't even have a business name. How does Masoko help these small business people reach the $90 markets?
Actually, that's why we are here. That's why we are here. We want to pull. I have a project in Kibera with some young people, and we want to see how we can refine to come to Safaricom. They're still working on a number of things. But the reasons why we are here, some of us here are informal, and we want to figure out how to formalize ourselves and get into the markets that we can be able to get sufficient margins than what we've been doing previously. Yeah.
How does someone get
involved in this? The Kibera, we can do a bilateral discussion. Then I will tell you.
Mine was a very simple question. So, sorry, my name is Sam.
You should be a singer. That voice is so deep, man. Huh? Barry White, look out, girls.
My name is Sam, and I just wanted to ask, the warehouse, where is it and how big is it?
So the warehouse is, I don't want to lie to you. I know where it is. It's just off. I'm glad I know where it is, because I've been sleeping there the last while. I haven't slept, but it's just off Sea Road. It's off Mombasa Road, quite near the airport. And then we've got a hub in the CBD where you can deliver goods as well, because it's quite difficult to get out there. I think it is 20. The warehouse that we're in is 20,000 square foot. The whole facility is 2,000 square foot, and the whole facility I think is 20,000 square foot or something.
Actually, there are no warehouses in Kenya now, because a lot of Chinese companies are stocking from here, dealing with other places. There isn't warehouse. If you build a warehouse 100,000 square foot, it will be taken before you finish. Because there isn't space. The demand is just way out of everything.
I have a two-part question. First is, how long does it take from, a merchant signing up? I saw on the website that there's you can put down your details and you can be contacted. So what's the vetting process, the onboarding process from start to finish? And then I saw from your platform there's ability for you to see who the seller is in terms of the name of the merchant. Is there ability to have a web shop view whereby merchants can be able to send their own URL that only holds their products? So if they want to sell that to their networks, they can be able to push that to their own business. And then the last question is that I understand the whole strategy for having trust, having reliability in terms of getting traction. But in terms of having the full-on vision of by Kenyans, for Kenyans, to the rest of the world. Do you have a strategy for critical mass? Or if LG or Sony were to say, we love your product, we'll sell directly to you, where do you draw the line?
Okay, so the process for onboarding should take a week. There's a few checks and balances that we do to ensure that that you have the right documentation. Yes, we can and will display your logo as a supplier. The middle question with the URL, I'm not sure how to answer. When you're referring to a URL, were you, in terms of is that the same question as the APIs to feature product?
No. So if I have a brick and mortar shop, yeah, on the side of the road, and I have a Lipa and M-Pesa till, etc., can I put Daniel's TVs as a web shop in Masoko, or are all my products bundled in with the rest
cool.
of? Yeah.
So independent web shops within our site, no. However, Daniel's TVs will be the seller and the brand associated to Daniel's TVs. I'm not sure whether that's individual web shop. I think you should have. I think you should have yourself on your own domain, because it gives you the opportunity to talk to your customer directly as well. But yeah, right now, no store within a store. It's all on my platform.
My name is Kevin from Corridor. My question is about how have you sorted the tax issue? Who pays the tax between the vendor, Safaricom, and the buyer? And then another question is, what's the minimum amount of the minimum that you do delivery? Because I'm seeing products worth 150. Do you also do delivery for such, or there's a minimum amount that I'm supposed to reach at for delivery?
So the minimum amounts for delivery that I shared earlier are the minimum, so 150, 180. Yesterday we sold products for $1 bob. They still pay the delivery fee. So look out for them today. There'll be some $1 bob specials again today. So don't switch on now and refresh while I'm talking to you though. The other question was, sorry, I got myself confused. The taxes, yes. So bear in mind that we're a technology platform. And Safaricom is extremely compliant and regulated in terms of tax. So we will pay and do the normal regulatory tax processes for the shipping. It's the vendor's responsibility to manage their tax. We do not, some platforms do have vendors that don't pay VAT. However, our vendor is responsible for their tax. It's in the contract.
My name is Dr. Ngumbi Elizabeth. I am a lecturer at Kwea University or Catholic University of Eastern Africa, and I am also IAN Kenya. IAN is International Education Resource and Network. Now, my question is, I'm thinking of this rural farmer from my village, Karaba, who is having very nice purpose, and they have no good camera, they have no something to make sure everybody can see the product they are selling. How much does Masoko help the vendor such that you are able to sell your product and to sell it nicely for the worth of what you've produced? Thank you.
Great questions. Yes, we understand that people don't have high-end cameras, etc., etc. What I'm actually doing at the moment is looking to get a whole bunch of students that we can aggregate and use to take these photographs. So we will train them, we will teach them, and empower them to help us. So we're looking at that. We do also have photographers ourselves that have gone out, have taken pictures for us, and edited them accordingly. The other challenge is with photographs, even if it's taken with an iPhone, it's generally huge in terms of size and megapixels. So yeah, everything's got to be compressed, everything's got to be done right. So we will certainly help those communities and take the pictures.
And also the purpose of this was to develop a help network. When the farmer harvests the mangoes, we must create a situation where that we can spread them throughout the year, not just when they are available. So like in Kitui, now they have solar freezers, such that you can actually supply mangoes through. That's what I said earlier. Until 1 year, we begin to understand the consumption. How many mangoes do we consume? How many can we store to supply when there is no supply? So this is the help network that we want to create, because them, they will provide a platform. They will come and take the pictures and the platform, but they cannot help the farmer sustain. And what they are talking about is sustainability of supply. That's how they will build the trust. The reason why we are here is that we develop such a support network and say, when you are onboarded, you should supply that mango for 365 days. How do you do it? Yeah? When they are in season, take some of them, put them in freezers, and then supply some until the season is over. Then you are again, or link up with people in Mombasa, because the seasons are different, so that you can be able to supply throughout the year. The problem with us is when the season is over, your phone goes off. They will not trust you at all. On the same, there was somebody. I will come.
My name is Mary. Given Kenya is largely an SME market, on the same question that has been asked, which department or which team is in charge of reaching these people who, in their entire life, they will never hear of Masoko, they will never get online? For example, if I ask you, where do you get ostrich feathers right now? Nobody knows.
Actually, let me answer that. What Safaricom is doing is building a platform. A platform. That's why we said, until some of us make the effort to get those people to be onboarded, Safaricom is not going to hunt for them. You know, they have too many people who are walking in who understand. So part of the reason of this seminar is that how do we get those people inside there? Number two, the requirements, in fact, when I was discussing with them, is how do you get reliable suppliers? That is why we are here, that we need to begin to talk about reliability, sustainability, and we begin to build the African trust. That is for us to do now, you know? We can't say serikali itafanya nini, Safaricom itafanya nini. There are some things we need to do ourselves, actually, especially universities. Here, there is another sector of Safaricom.
My name is Sela Wekesa. I'm with Safaricom and I take care of our public sector business. And just to your question, there are so many other avenues and so many other channels that we're using with the different departments that are focused on initiatives. For example, there's a conversation that is going on with the Ministry of Industrialization to look at the concern you've raised around the small, medium enterprises and what channels and what avenues do we use to reach them so that they can be able to take advantage of the platform. There are a lot of initiatives and solutions we are providing to the Ministry of Agriculture. For example, there is a solution we call Connected Farmer, where we use agribusinesses, and those agribusinesses then use our mobile technology. And using that mobile technology, there are various features and functions that will be able to connect them. If I use an example of dairy farming, from the time they produce the milk, they journey all the way into the agribusiness, and how does that connect back into the e-commerce platform that we're creating? So there are so many other pillars that then connect to the platform. Masoko is not the only channel that is going to answer all our demand and our supply chain. And if you realize in Kenya, there's quite a huge demand for many various products, but we have challenges on the supply side, and that's what we're dealing with. And I guess, as Prof said, that's why we're in this room today, to pick some of the feedback, some of the suggestions, to bring them on board, and how do we work together.
Now I am in trouble. I will do this side. You, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6, and then I'll come back.
So I start.
You start.
Hi, my name is Isabel. I have a few concerns.
You can leave the room.
So, number one, about reliability of supply. Looking at the Kenyan perspective, even when you're running your own small shop, under normal circumstances, my stock will run out. Let's just be real, yeah? And even though I have purpose, there's a point where a disease will happen or something, or rats just go up and eat all my produce. So, shouldn't you look at more crowdsourcing and have more suppliers with like the same product or almost the same product? Now let's say.
Now, if you, why are you killing yourself? You are the one who is supposed to organize the like-minded and make sure that Safaricom gets these things permanently. You know, this thing of you will run out of stock are excuses which have made us poor. So what you need to know, what you need to ask Safaricom is, give me the numbers so that I can do the estimates and go to the producers so that I am able to supply.
So is there minimum stock, like, for the supply?
No. Actually, we are here. In fact, I fought with them and said, let me bring people together and think about this. What we need to do from our side, from this side, is that, can you onboard us? The question they would ask you, are you reliable? Would you be able to produce this? Then now you link up with everybody else. And then through this program, we want to begin to teach people now to standardize. And then basic analytics of data. Safaricom requires 1,000 of this every week. How do we produce? Then we work backwards. Not to go to Safaricom and say, honestly, these things run out. Then we are not helping ourselves. Yeah.
If you have, let's say, a vendor portal where I can update my stock and have, if it's out of stock, I can say it's out of stock. Then it disappears from the portal.
Just get the like-minded. The like-minded.
So I'll be the only one on Masoko supplying purpose?
No.
I don't understand.
Sorry, Stella here again. Just to help Prof, I was going to say, I get where Prof is going with this, is that we're supposed to come up with solutions ourselves as communities. So I'm thinking that if we are Popo farmers, how many are we in a locality? Can we, for example, form a chama or an association? And then through that chama or that association, we look at what capacity we have to supply those popos, and does that capacity meet the requirement that Safaricom would like? If Safaricom tells us they need X tons per year to meet a certain number of need, then are we able to meet that requirement as an association?
No, right now we are...
Not yet. You were working at that, and we would like those ideas so that we can be able to inbuild. And I would like to look at the journey of M-Pesa. I know that when M-Pesa started, it had a lot of hitches and glitches. It had a lot of issues. In fact, it took a long time for a number of people to start trusting and transacting with M-Pesa. But I think Prof said the other day and said, you know, you put your money, you go and give somebody your money, and you walk around with your phone proudly saying, I have my money here in the phone. And yet you've left it with someone else. Exactly. Yeah, so it's the same journey we're going to go through. I believe that if we all come together, as Prof has said, like-minded people, we should be able to resolve those concerns or those gaps.
So we can sign up even as a group?
Yeah?
Yes.
No.
But someone has to take responsibility.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, someone, yes, as a group. And the thing I want you to take from here, the power of data. If you had data, that they tell you this is exactly what we need, you would make a lot of money. you realize, I mean, just go monitor, because I do funny things. When mangoes are out of season, the glass of mango juice doubles in Nairobi. People never knew this. And all you need is a solar freezer to keep those things and supply it when people don't have it, or supply Safaricom. And then the price by then, even them, they would understand that it would go up.
Another question.
Yes.
In terms of photos, you say that you have professional camera people to just come into
They want to train. They want to train young people.
that's what you're
Yeah.
to do.
Mm.
But are they going to be coming to where the vendor is? Let's say the vendor is in Mombasa or
Mm.
does it come there and take photos of the produce? Or are we bringing the produce?
If the mentality I want us to clean from our head, usaidiwe, nataka nisaidiwe. No, just this. If I want to be onboarded in Safaricom, I would actually come with my mangoes and say, take them the right picture, which is going to show. Now you want to sit in the village and say, when is Safaricom coming to take my... No. You have to make some effort.
Hi, my name is Paul. I work on an e-commerce platform. We're in the weight loss niche. While perusing through the website, I have not seen any weight loss supplements, more of the fitness industry. Is Masoko open to weight loss? Secondly, part of the reason we would like to work with Masoko is to expand our sales channels and penetrate other markets. Is this a viable thing to do with Masoko regarding this niche? Thank you.
Definitely. Have you seen my stomach? I told you guys. Yeah, weight loss and fitness is a huge sector online. So we do have some products already, but it's more of the branded USN kind of protein powders and that sort of thing. But absolutely, you're more than welcome to join us and provide your product. In fact, I want to do health weeks, and I want to do weight loss weeks, and I want to do fitness weeks and those sort of things. So.
Hi, my name is Masi. So what avenues or, let me say, programs would you have for vendors to help them in their trajectory? Like, are there groups where they'll be able to band together and, air out those issues? Once on Masoko, we are the group. We are here. Okay. Second question, how would you handle products that have restrictions? For example, alcohol. How will you ensure that a person under 18 years old doesn't buy the alcohol or drugs, medicines and things like this?
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you.
So we have an age checker on the site, which you have to acknowledge and communicate with. So if you buy anything of an adult nature, a medicine or alcohol, it'll ask you if you're 18 or not. And when that item gets delivered, you'll have to produce your ID. So yeah, and we will not be selling restricted items and adult content. It's not what we do.
Hi, my name is Nastya. 2 questions. The first one, is there a standard procedure how you check the quality of the products before you sign up the vendor? And another one, is there a timeline for services, like when you start working with services, specifically in the education areas? I saw it was in the plan. Thank you.
Yes, so quality is quite tough to manage. Look, besides the fact that we're going to vet and the company, if at all possible, we will send a representative around to your business. We'll have a look what you do, how you do it, to make sure that everything is above board. But then when we inbound the product into the warehouse, we do check it. If they're sealed boxes, we won't. However, we will check, and we will do periodic checks as well with suppliers. Keep going to the warehouse, because what generally happens is they give you their best 5 products, and then you think, oh, this guy's amazing, and then he's got another 25 products in the back of inferior quality or whatever. So we do I have vendor account managers that will stay in contact, that will visit. We love having a conversation with our vendors. So this is about a conversation, and it's a partnership as well as a potential friendship. I think that's key. It's not just a transaction. We want to have conversations. We want to grow your business. We want to help you from a Safaricom perspective as well as from a Masoko perspective to see how we can take your business to the next level. I think it's key for us that everybody knows that.
The second one, about the services.
Yeah, so services. Please can I sleep sometime? Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to do service. I think services is key. From a technology and platform perspective, it already has the capability to deliver a service-based product or item. Tangible as well as intangible products we can deliver technically. I just haven't had time to put the program together. But once I have, we'll get it out there.
Yeah. I got comments though, because actually when I noticed actually why Safaricom beat it out of the competitor in terms of the communication is because actually localization. And Masako actually you mentioned about is actually greatly embraced the local brands. But when we look at local brands, first of all, I think e-commerce, first of all, is actually electronic product move fast. So when we look at electronic product, actually we can't make it here right now immediately because actually it costs this thing. So back to a lot of questions actually you guys ask, I think there's one opportunity actually is raising up because when we look at what are the local products we're going to make, of course those blankets you can buy in Masa Market, you won't buy in Masako, that's what I believe. You would go there and then bargain down there and get it. So what I'm thinking is actually agribusiness is actually very good. Like for example coffee and tea. But I think if young people, for example, 5 people in the room, you make a team together, and then you deal with, for example, 10 or 4 farmers, and then make your sort of like packaging here, brand here, make sure the quality is good. I think that's the future, because actually Masako can't really, artwork, I don't think it's going to be a big market, because actually artwork, people need to see it, people need to know the story behind. So what I'm thinking about, when you're talking about localization, I think that's what is the opportunity all about? Yeah.
Actually, we need to deal with this as a subject, and we want to localization, branding, whatnot.
Okay.
Thank you, Prof. Charles. Ladies first.
Does it work? Okay. It's working, yeah? Sorry, my name is Anne-Marie. I have a question for, it's about the vendors. So if I'm a vendor and I live in Nakuru, how long do I have to get my product to Nairobi, to the warehouse? Or would I have to store my products, like the inventory, in the warehouse in Nairobi? And also, if I'm in Nairobi and I have a shop, but I'm also selling on your platform, if supposedly somebody has bought my product online, how long do I have to get my product to the hub for quality checks?
Okay, so the drop shipment time frame is you need to get it to us within 24 hours. That's the general. If you are remotely situated, then it would be much more beneficial for you to put it into our warehouse as consignment stock. But generally 24 hours to get it to us. We've got some really good relationships, as I said, with Sendi and Fargo. So even if you need a collection, we have discounted rates from those vendors. We can put you in touch with them directly to collect.
Okay, thank you once again, Charles. I know it's early days. I'm interested in finding out what is the uptake, how many people have registered, how much you've sold so far, as one. 2, there are complaints on Amazon whereby Amazon competes with the vendors. If they just look at the data, if an item is going too fast and it's profitable, so they go and approach the manufacturer directly. So I'm hoping that you have a plan to sort of protect the vendors as well, not compete with them.
So just bear in mind that our philosophy is not to be a mass discounter. So even if I have product from a retailer versus a product from a wholesaler, the recommended retail price will be the same. So we're not going to even if you've got a retail store, without your permission to do a marketing campaign or a discount for that product, we will sell it at recommended retail. We don't, as I said, we want to add value to the basket. We don't want to undercut and bastardize the whole of retail, because it's not the right way to do it. So it will be suggested recommended retail that we'll expect the supplier or the retailer to give us the correct information.
Thank you. My name is Mecca. Earlier I asked a question about an agency model, and I've had a lot of questions going around concerning the onboarding process. And she asked about being able to bring her goods from Nakuru to Nairobi. I still believe, and probably in a proposal manner, that an agency kind of model where every region would have a super agency, which is like a super warehouse, and then the products would probably circulate within the same area. Less for those products that cannot be produced, say for example in the agricultural front, like for those products that cannot be produced within that environment are the only products that will need to move from another town to another. Then you would also, earlier something also was asked about being able to take photographs and all that. You realize that within that local community, we have a lot of youths who have gone to university who can actually be onboarded. So you don't need to send somebody from Nairobi to go and take pictures in Kitale. They can actually start their own businesses around recruiting vendors for Masoko and owning the vendors in a way of, when you have training, you decentralize it to them, then they do training to the vendors. Secondly, there is the issue of having Mama Mboga and vendors selling clothes somewhere like Gikomba and toy market, second-hand clothes. Most of these people have Facebook accounts, so they can easily sign up. They know the process. Almost anybody with a smartphone in Kenya has a Facebook account. Now, every Facebook account has the opportunity of opening a Facebook page for their business. Can Masoko look at the possibility of creating such a simple platform where if you enroll on it, you sign up like a Masoko page, and instead of creating your own website, which has some cost implication, and so they can just load their products, take a few pictures with their smartphones. I don't know, just a thought process.
I think the community question's been answered, and I love the fact that you're thinking that way, to be able to get a local photographer and local people to support this kind of agency. Yeah, the whole social media thing is, as I said, is pretty new to me, and it's amazing how much activity happens in social media. So we need to work out a way that how we're going to talk between a social media platform into the Masoko platform. So I will definitely make sure that I get that as a priority, because we're probably missing a nice opportunity. There's a lot of people out there doing that. In fact, a lot of people, friends of mine here, are selling on Facebook, and they're doing a fairly nice job. They're making a few bob every day, and it's a good model. I need to go and pack some orders, but yeah, I'd like to go as soon as possible. But
okay, thank you. My name is Nixon. I have a more direct question concerning, for example, if I'm a vendor, what is the minimum quantity that you require me to have, for example, for a particular, talk about a pair of shoes, a particular brand. What is the minimum quantity I'm supposed to have?
That is not for them. It's just for them you have to make sure that
Okay, so for example, I can decide to sell 2 pairs of shoes on my, so I have a stock of 2 pairs.
Just 2 pairs.
For example, yeah. No, I'm not saying I stop. I'm saying during the at first when I want to become a vendor, obviously these terms will be there. I'll be told you need to have, for example, maybe 5, 10, 50. That is my question.
For the first year,
yeah.
First year we would have approved them. Second year we would have known the demand patterns.
Okay.
And then they can be, right now even them, they don't know who would buy the
And then my second question.
So the answer is there is no minimum at the moment. What happens systematically if you join us and you've got 1 pair of shoes, or maybe it's something that you've made that's a big item that's taken you years to make. If you want to sell that item, you will load up as a vendor. You'll provide us with that item. You'll load 1 stock unit in the system, and once it's out of stock, it won't appear. So from a systematic perspective, we're not worried, but we do want to help you guys to scale. I think the important thing is not to sell 2 pairs. The important thing is for me to rather sell 500 pairs for you, because that means you're doing a successful thing. So.
Okay, I had one more question concerning, again, the images. What are the current policies you have? Like, will you take the images? Will I just need to send, if I'm doing drop shipping, do I just need to send them to you and you'll do everything else? Or?
So I've got a full image and product guideline document that I send to my vendors in terms of images and requirements.
My question is regard to jurisdiction of disputes and regard to protection of the intellectual property which is provided by our people. Yeah. So, given for instance, someone comes up with, I heard you say earphones that are completely new to the market. Yeah. And how are you going to protect such a vendor? And in terms of jurisdiction of disputes, just to confirm, are we using Safaricom's guidelines as of now, or where are we going to be settling disputes with regard to our e-commerce or any other activities that we happen to trade in?
So, what kind of protection would you like me to give this guy with the headphones? So from a dispute perspective, we have a team that will manage necessary disputes and protection and regulatory items. We need to give everybody an opportunity to sell on our environment. So how we protect them versus someone bringing the product in is really tough. Yeah.
There's one here. 4 questions, then we are through. I can be answering other things because I want us to remain behind and talk about Safaricom behind their back.
Hi again. With regards to customer service, will we be able to interact with them so we can educate them on how best to answer queries and stuff? Because for those of us coming from a niche market, we understand the questions and the problems that come up. And customer service will literally make or break your endpoint sale. So is it possible for us to interact with somebody or just have like a guideline or template that we can forward to somebody about queries?
There is a guideline, yes.
Okay.
My name is Christian. I'm assuming in a few months you'll have a lot of data that you've generated. So as a big data analyst, what kind of data do I have access to so that I can do my own analysis instead of relying on the social media information?
I'm not sure how to answer that. I'm not sure. As I said to you, I've got a separate team that does my data and my data analysis. So please, do you want me to sell the data? No, we're not selling data. No one sells data.
We're going to provide support services so that we begin to understand data patterns.
Just a suggestion. If data is your game, there's a new book that's just come out called Everybody Lies. Get that book. It is phenomenal. I bought it at the airport a little while ago. And what this guy has done, he's a data researcher in the US. He took Google data and he took a couple of other sites' data, but particularly Google, to understand if you're putting something into Google, are you lying or are you telling the truth? And he's done a whole assessment on tragedy versus what people are buying. He talks about all sorts of amazing things. Get that book and you'll see how much Google is actually telling the truth about a person versus what they actually do in their real lives versus what they put into the Google thing. It's called Everybody Lies. I'm not sure the author is, but it's a great read.
Good evening, good morning, everyone. My name is Jairo, and for my business, I'm in the agriculture business, and I've been trying to crack what you guys have just come up with. So for us, it's a bigger step for us in business. Masoko as a platform. So my question is, if I want to talk to Masoko team about my business and how best can we partner, where can we get you people in terms of just personal?
Yeah. The last question. Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Faith. My question is, it's about the drop-off shops, because I think that should be a critical sale
that if I buy a product, I know that I'll be able to access it or take it in a certain shop. What criteria will you use to identify the drop-off shops?
Actually,
And
when he talks about sending,
yeah.
send uses GPS. You can even order from Kibera and they will drop it there.
You're talking about click and collect. So if you buy it, we may be dropping it at a retailer or for collection points.
You'll not have like a yeah.
If you're in Kilimani, you say you drop it at the Yaya Center. No, they will drop it in your house.
Why I'm asking that, because I think that's something that can sell, especially in Kenya, and I think Alibaba do the same in China, where they have, within a certain radius, they have certain drop-off points where I don't have, maybe I'm not even around, and I need such an item. So I'm assured that within maybe 2 to 3 days, I can pick that item. I think that would be very critical when you're developing this. We're
definitely looking at a click and collect model. It does work. I'm not sure what the criteria will be, but certainly we have a number of M-Pesa agents, whether there's enough size in terms of dropping off. But click and collect does work well, because also sometimes people are working late, they've got to travel. The addressing systems are not 100% accurate in Kenya. So if you visit your local pharmacy every day or on your way home, you stop at a Nakumatt or a Tuskys or whatever, there's definitely an opportunity for me to drop your product at a retailer or at a service station or at... So we will look at a click and collect model. I've looked at it technically already. It does work. In Nigeria, 99% of all online transactions are actually all click and collect. So because the roads are so manic and so difficult to get to residential addresses, so yeah. I don't have a criteria right now, but once we're there, we will certainly let everybody know. Thank you.
Charles, we thank you. This is, he promised a couple of things, and we would get him back around January, February. We're going to remain behind like 15 minutes and understand how, before we come to see you, how we work on this thing. One of the young people I'm working with has something very special. The black soap. Do you people know black soap? They have managed to make. Can you advertise and then? It's not for black people, but it is just black soap. I want to give him as a present. Then you give us a. Yeah. You give us a feedback. This is organic, proper, everything. Yeah?
How much does it cost?
I think it's $5.
Don't tell them you can buy it on Masoko on Monday.
It costs around 400 shillings. Just 400 Kenya shillings. Etia kazi gani? Okay, let's understand what Prague soap is. I think Prof asked a simple question. Do you people know Prague soap? I saw people saying like, oh yes. So it seems like most of you don't understand. This soap is special in the sense that it is all organic. Mostly when you're making soap, I think we have chemists around, you have to react a oil plus a salt, like mostly sodium hydroxide, so that you can get the end product soap. Mostly caustic or potassium hydroxide, which is used to make such kind of products, is usually, custom made, like we manufacture it. Now this one is made from plantain seeds and peels. Ukichukua matoke yako vizuri, after you have peeled it, you can do some magic and you can extract some KOH, which you react with cocoa butter and shea butter and palm kernel oil, which is a derivative of palm oil, and then you are going to add a few things like fragrance and water, and going to make one of the best products around. If I add a little piece of water, nikuweke tu kidogo, You will see how it forms very well. It leaves your skin very moisturized. I think you people, when you understand cosmetics, you know what cocoa butter and shea butter does. Yes, so all that is contained herein. So I'd wish that if we bring this product to Masoko, it's going to tell me how I can customize this product. If you want perhaps a perfume which is how can I call it, lavender, I custom make it for you and deliver it to your doorstep. If you want a specific perfume, a different brand, I customize it for you, and it's going to be a very precious item. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. This is just but the beginning. Going forward, I think the next success story will be right here next year when we'll be having, I think, our whole chain. Cuts off Masoko, cuts off you people.
That's great. So now I can look younger. I'm going to lose weight now. Has anyone got a product that can grow my hair back? I need a hair grow product, please, and then I can find a girlfriend. So.
Yes, we thank you for coming, and obviously we've seriously. I've been working with this gentleman in agriculture. I mean, a lot of people here we've been working on several, but we're going to think about packaging, branding, whatnot, everything before we come sit down with you. But you can still come ahead and begin to talk. Yeah. So could we say that everybody contacts Nekesa for their contacts? Nekesa Were. If you don't have an email of Nekesa, Nekesa would have it. So thank you very much. So I'm going to spend 10 minutes, a few 10. Yeah. Honestly, I need feedback from you on that.
I'm going to do it.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes. Safaricom is building a platform. The rest is for us to do. I mean, the idea is that we meet here. Some of those who have problems standardizing, scaling, we would work through that. We have a lot of doctoral students who are doing entrepreneurship here. Some are doing international business. And I've requested them, since they are my students, that I would use them here before they graduate. That's how they learn. So we actually need to leverage the resource and begin to help. And that's the only thing we can bring. Begin to help our people and make this a Kenyan platform. A Kenyan platform. What's going to happen is that Amazon would come here and they do what they're doing and actually import things and put there. But by the time they come, or by the time the Alibaba comes here, we would have actually very well developed products that would move into any platform. So that is the idea. In January, we want to see those who have tried, who have samples, like this one, and then we talk about how to scale it. I know some of you, there are some here who are doing meat, there are some who are doing agricultural products, but we need to get like an association so that we gather our own data. Because once it gets into Safaricom, you will not get that data. It's like asking Nakumat, can you give me the data on customer consumption? That is their own data. They cannot give it to you. Then we have people who are data scientists here who can begin to analyze and begin to tell us. I was helping a student who was exporting stuff to Germany, and Germans came. I did an article about it. The first question they asked us, how many tons of mangoes do you get from Mombasa? So we were looking at each other like tons. Who asked such a stupid question? But they needed to know so that they understand the supply chain and how many tons from Kitui, because they knew the differences between the mangoes of Kitui and Mombasa. So we need to have that data before we take it to platforms like this one. It will be for our benefit that we can come here and talk about consumption patterns. We talk about the market. We begin to estimate what they want, and we begin to see what collaborations we would make in order to be able to satisfy the demand. Virtually everything, as I said, from dried tomatoes to everything, we don't have. And there's a market for it. And once you develop the brand through this, then it would go to South Africa, it would go to Europe, but then you begin to build a global thing. We have that opportunity, and I think this is the right platform to begin to work from. So in January, we would dig into, into branding or whatever. What? Yes. So you are welcome. Anytime, if you have a problem, Nekesa, then we begin to work together. I thank you for coming, and I hope to see you in January. I wish you a Merry Christmas.